much for joining me at Numan Arms tonight. Real privilege of mine, and thank you for taking the time with us.
That's great.
You're on a little bit of a high at the moment, I believe, with your band. Is it Tubeway Days?
Tubeway Days, yeah. I got asked to join in, I think, May 2020, and because the previous singer had left, and I knew the band musically were very good, and obviously with my sort of past record on TV as Gary Newman and whatever, I thought it would be a great thing to join, and it's going really great guns. Yeah,
because you appeared on Stars in Your Eyes, which was about 24 years ago now.
Yeah, God. Yeah.
I mean, how did that all come about?
Well, I've always impersonated people from when I was a little boy. I mean, like 4 or 5 years old. Impersonations were my thing, and always have been. So, and I could sing sort of, beyond school years. So obviously combine the two. So then I was doing singing impersonations really to entertain the family more than anything, because I knew I'd get them laughing and whatever. So the people in the office made me apply for Stars in Their Eyes because they were just, I'd impersonate everybody, so they thought I'd be a good fit for that, and got on there. And it's quite a tricky. Well, it was a tricky program to get on. They had 90,000 people apply. They listened to 45,000 cassettes between a team of them, and then from that they pick 1,100 to audition. So you're in the sort of 1% even getting a chance to audition, and then from that they pick, I think, 120 or 200, for the second auditions, and then they pick 60 and 6 substitutes in case someone's ill on the filming. So it was great, and it was at that point, I'd never sung on karaoke. I hadn't done anything like that, and then in front of millions on the telly. So it was very exciting. That was, really good.
How did that? I mean, how did your friends and other people find your TV experience?
And they were so excited. I mean, my mum, she's at the time, she was one of these women who'd have one cigarette a year, on holiday or something. She went straight out and bought 20 Benson and Hedges. So I said I got on the show, and they were actually, my mum and dad were too nervous to come to the show, So really? I had my 2 brothers and two friends from work come, and instead for the filming, but. Everybody was really, really supportive, and but at that time, obviously, I'd never seen myself on telly, so I was I think I drank half a bottle of gin watching it, couldn't face it, but it was great, very good.
But then, I mean, because you did that, and I think Tubeway Days, you've only been in, how long have you been with them now?
18 months now, I think, something like that.
Okay, so what were you doing in between?
Well, once I'd done Stars in Their Eyes, I mean, a lot of people, get on the show and they do okay. They sort of, throw their jobs in and try and do it full time as a tribute or whatever. And, a lot don't do that well. Some do, like Gary Mullen, fantastic Freddie Mercury. He's selling out theatres across America, so good on him, but a lot fall by the wayside. But I knew it'd only be a hobby, so I in between, having been on that, funnily enough, an agent of this 70s band, 70s tribute band, they were doing glam rock, and they were called the Grimleys, because it used to be the TV series The Grimleys with Noddy Holder, and Amanda Holden was in it, and
I must have missed that one time.
Yeah. So it was an ITV comedy set in the 70s. Anyway, so there was this band called the Grimleys, and they said, "Do you want to join us and do, Gary Newman and maybe David Bowie, because they're quite similar-ish, So, so I had a costume made and joined them, and then that turned into." My costume changes are getting quicker and quicker. So now I'm still doing it. Party band, we're called the Party Poppers, and I do 11 costume changes a night. So I'm literally everyone. I'm Prince, I'm Bowie, I'm Gary Newman, I'm the Pet Shop Boys, I'm Madness, Waddy Waddy, you know, you name it, I've got a costume. So I've got about 25 costumes in the garage, and I impersonate everybody. T-Rex, I could go on and on and on.
Really?
The new one that we're adding actually is Demis Roussos. We're going to do Forever and Ever.
Right.
With Zorba the Greek before we bring him on.
So I look forward to seeing that outfit.
Yeah. There's a lot of kaftan involved, and I'm going to put a big pillow under my under the kaftan. You know, I look a bit like Jesus. So it's that's the look. So I've been doing that since I think it was about 2003. I started doing that, and you know, we played Butlins, Pontins, Haven, all over the place, and had great fun. But always, we did the Gary Newman thing, so we wore the jumpsuit, and that's for 2 songs. We weren't a synth band; they were just, you know, basically a rock band. So the Gary Newman element always had to be on CD, and they'd like chuck a CD in a bag, and it was scratched. We'd end up with a 9-minute version of Cars. Well, I try and work out where the hell I was in the song while it was jumping around. And so it was so good when I took about 1 minute to think about it when Paul Hurst messaged me and said, you know, our singer's gone. Do you want to join Tubeway Days? Because I'd watched their videos and thought they were sort of nearly there. The music was fantastic, but I thought, God, I'd love to be fronting that. We could really do something with that, you know. And lo and behold, here we are, and things are built really nicely.
Yeah, they seem to be. I mean, because Gary's voice is very unique for anyone to try and cover.
Yeah,
I've noticed over the years, especially being at gigs and that, when you hear people trying to sing along.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they all try and sing it like Gary.
Yeah.
I yet to meet, apart from yourself, anyone who actually sounds like Gary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's do you know, it's a strange thing, because obviously I was a fan when he first became sort of, you know, in the charts or whatever. So I was 10, but it took about 3 months, I think, because what I've worked out is it's nearly a break in the voice. It's a bit like a yodel. It's almost like a yodeling. So his voice nearly breaks at the end of a line. It's difficult to explain, but that's the only thing I compare it to, yodeling, in that you go from a deep note to almost a fractured high note within sentences, and that's how it is. But it is odd, and that's why it's not just Gary Newman. I mean, as I say, I impersonate a lot of people, and I watch other tribute acts and think that's not very good, because it should sound like, you know, I'm all picky, you know, everybody is, aren't they? They're all armchair expert. But yeah, that's what it is. Gary Newman's a very unique voice. No one in this world sounds like Gary Newman. And that's why I think the Bowie comparisons always annoy me, because vocally they're not similar at all, you know, to me.
Not many I've seen, and no, none of them.
No, because Bowie used to change his vocal style depending on the type of song, and you know, and what suited the music. So he was a chameleon, and he changed his voice to suit what he was doing at that time. So, you know, he'd got his own sort of way of like a whole range of vocal impersonations of his own, you know, starting with Anthony Newley to, you know, screaming to It's No Game on Scary Monsters album, you know, completely different style.
Indeed. So, but Tubeway Days, obviously you focus on the early replicas. First album, basically those first 2 tours. And while we never discount doing other things that weren't on those tours, what we're going to do is sort of put those in the encore section at the end. So like the one that we've done is Are You Real? I don't think he's ever done that live, certainly back then. So we're throwing that in, and we're going to do, you know, pick out random songs like that from that period though, so that it suits what we're doing, and throw those in. So there's still a lot more to come, and you know, to two entire set lists to do. So we've got lots of scope for keep changing the set, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, on the Tour in Principle and Telly Tour, there's a lot of songs Gary never played.
Yeah.
From the first, say, from the Plan, Replicas, Pleasure Principle.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Observer, he's never played live. Or back then he never did. Have you tried that one? Yeah,
we talked about that already. So that's one of the next few songs on the list. So we got that. We're going to do Engineers probably.
Yeah.
And there's other songs as well from Telecom that we're going to be looking at as well. So yeah, it's because obviously we're literally doing first half 79, second half 80. So we'll swap and change those things around, and also the different arrangements. So it might be the Wembley version of a song compared to the 79 version. So you know, we will keep ourselves interested within that.
Have you ever noticed Gary's voice is different on the Tour in Principle to the Telly Tour?
Yeah, I think it's probably just that bit more assured on the Telly Tour. I think confidence in singing comes with knowing what you're doing, and I think he'd sort of relax a bit more. Maybe not in his actual real life, but certainly on the stage, he'd relax with it more and was far more controlled in how he delivered it. Yeah, so there was, he definitely, and even the way he moved and everything was, you can see as well, far better on the Telly Tour than Tour in Principle. He points on the Tour in Principle because he was, what was he, 22, 20, you know, 21, whatever. You know, very young bloke. I can't even remember what I was doing at 21, but I certainly couldn't have stood up in front of 3,500 at Glasgow. You know, without people bouncing off the walls because you're on a stage, and when all you've done is play pubs. I mean, that you can't imagine what that must have been like. I mean, fantastic, but blimey, talk about scary.
You can see why the pressure got to Gary, but on saying that, I also believe he brought a lot on himself.
Yeah,
because obviously he didn't have to go straight on tour with the Telly Tour. You know, he'd only been back in the country a couple of months, and off he went again. You know. So, and that was his decision, no one else's. So.
And unlike a lot of people, you know, not drinking and not doing drugs and whatever, he got no sort of crutch to sort of lean on. Okay, he got his parents with him in tow, you know, but blimey, I think 6 months on tour with my brothers, we'd end up dead, I think. So I wouldn't fancy taking my family with me anywhere.
No,
but you know, blimey. So yeah, I think he you know, and obviously, as he's always said, he just retiring killed his career really for a long time, and so a real shame, and probably regrets it. However, I mean, blimey, what a turnaround! What a turnaround!
I mean, to be fair, we can all look back at things we shouldn't have done. Or
I wouldn't have got married first time round, to be honest with you. That the last thing I said to her was, "I do."
But moving forward, I believe Robert has joined us.
Hello,
Robert. Good evening and welcome to Numan Arms.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good. You're looking very much like Bono.
That's what I was going for. Yeah, you know, I move in mysterious ways, you know. So, yeah. So
between the pair of you, you've started the new venture, Spaceward. Wood. I mean, how has that come about?
Take it, Chris.
Well, from my point of view, I'd heard, you know, Robert, first of all, had been on our Tubeway Days site and was very complimentary about what we were doing, and we just got chatting. And you know, you're in the States, and I'm always interested in how Facebook has sort of, you know, brought the world, you know, a lot nearer together, hasn't it? It's amazing, really, that we're able to do this now. I used to watch. There used to be a program, Robert, in Britain called Tomorrow's World, you know, and they'd outcome these amazing things in the 70s. You know, you'll be able to see someone on video on your watch and you go, that's a yeah, exactly. And here we are, blimey, you know, it's all coming true. So, but yeah, I watched, so we got chatting, and he's always been really complimentary about Tubeway Days. He obviously, 90% I think of what he likes is British music anyway, which is unusual. And so we just got saying, well, I liked what he'd done with Death Cryptopia. You know, I thought that sounded great for that style. I thought that would suit very old, you know, The Plan style Tubeway Days, old punk stuff. And then so we've done a few of those, literally sending each other files, and I'm a bit rubbish with technology, so it's slowed down temporarily, but I've got a new recorder, so I'll be able to get some vocals over to him soon. Sorry, Robert. And and so once that's done, but it's just two old blokes picking out random songs, and Robert doing his magic and putting like a modern twist. And I think you know, sort of black or death metal, or whatever you want to call it, you know, that modern style of production as well really suits some of the faster paced Newman songs, although Robert is a synth person as well. So we've just chosen another one that's actually very slow, but I've always loved the song. So
I mean, Check It is, and I think I was telling Robert this the other week, is probably one of the only Newman covers that I constantly keep watching, because I think it's brilliant.
Right.
Brilliant. I mean, you come across fantastic. Robert's music is Robert, and it's brilliant. I mean, Robert.
Yes, sir.
I mean, your musical taste, or your musical taste,
or lack of.
It's you seem to cover quite a wide variety of your death metal stuff.
Yes.
Is that's what you call it?
Yes. Yeah. You know, black metal, death metal.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's either one, but yeah, that's what got me rolling with it. Was that my bandmate lives on the west coast of the U.S. and I live on the east coast. So what, you know, Chris was talking about, you know, the way that we can do things nowadays is amazing. You know, so you know. Chris is 3,000 miles to my east, and Eric for Death Cryptopia is 3,000 miles to my west. So I'm kind of in the middle here. I'm like, so yeah. One day, just Eric and I used to do a comic book together, and Eric came out of the blue one day and said he had some music going, but he can't write lyrics, and he remembered that I was a writer of the comic book, and so I said. He came to me, he said, would you do it? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. So, because he knew I had a warped sense of humor anyway, so I could get the warped graphic lyrics, you know, out to him and things like that. So that's where that started. And he didn't know that I did my own thing where I do kind of, I don't know, best way to describe, kind of ambient electronica.
Well, this is what I was going to say, because you do your metal sort of stuff.
Yes, sir.
You do your ambient sort of ballad sort of stuff. You do your Newman stuff. So there's this huge range, you know.
Yes.
Which is quite amazing, actually, that you can have that huge range.
Well, yeah, thank you. I just don't like being one-dimensional. Yeah, I just don't believe in that. You know, I'm boring enough in real life. I don't need to be boring with my music too. You know, so. But yeah, so but the nice thing about that was, you know, as Christopher said, you know, I'm a huge fan of Tubeway Days, and I wish, you know, hopefully one day they can come to the States. And you know, he came out of the blue, and you know, we hit it off immediately, and it's just been a great friendship right off the bat. And Christopher asked, you know, one day, would you be interested in doing some Gary Newman stuff? And I was like, So I had to think about it for about 0.2 seconds, and I said yes. So if I could do my hero, my idol, my musical hero, you know, Gary Newman, absolutely, I'll jump right on that. And plus I knew, you know, watching the Tubeway Days videos, hearing Chris sing and like that, I just knew this would be a match made in heaven. And so far, I mean, everything's gone, I think, very smoothly. And, the Check It video has been very well received. We've gotten a lot of kudos from that. And, and it's nice. We've got more stuff coming out.
So can we say where you're going, what you're doing next?
Well, I think, we're going to, it's funny really, because Check It, I think it was done and dusted in about, was it 48 hours or something, Robert? It was like
4 days.
It was unbelievable from start to finish, the whole thing done. And the video was done in about two hours at my house with a green screen. And it's a good friend of mine, because I'm in a comedy sitcom. There's only the pilot episode on YouTube, and it's called The Studio. So I play this sort of fat Robert Smith from The Cure type character who owns a studio, and it's called Johnny Too Good. So anyway, the chap, one of the film directors from that, just came to my house with all the gear, and we did Check It was done thanks to Robert sending the sci-fi background. All I did was film it in front of a green screen and with a big lyric board, because I can never remember the words anymore. No. And away we go. And it's like I say, it's gone down pretty well. I'm thinking about wearing that much makeup 24/7 now.
Well, also the nice thing about the video that you'll notice too is, whoever watches this video is now why you don't see my face. You don't see Chris, okay? So that's why we did that. We were like, do we want the video to look good, or do we want to put a video up that'll scare rats away?
I think that's unfair, Bob. So what do we expect now then with the Spaceward stuff? Where your next song? Have you got one ready?
Yeah, I think. Well, what have we done so far? Have we done Basic J yet or not?
Can we say?
Yeah, go on.
All right. You know me, I always should I say anything? So I'm like sitting up here like, shut up, Bob, shut up. We did Check It. I think our next video is going to be Basic J.
Yeah.
We did that. And we're also doing Bombers.
Yeah.
Which we got that done.
And the other ones in the pipeline as well include, I think we're going to have a look at Ice. Always quite like that. Mm-hmm. And Love is Like Clock Law. Mm-hmm. Which will be the slower one, obviously. But I think again, with a modern twist on that song, that could be really updated quite well.
That's from Warriors, isn't it?
Yeah. It's quite slow. So it's probably my favourite song on the album.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
Yeah.
I remember I haven't heard Warriors for years, but when I did have it, I would probably skip the whole record and just keep playing that one.
Yeah, it's a great, really, and that's the thing about Gary Newman. Regardless of what his albums have been like over the years, some have gone down, less well than others, but you can almost guarantee, no matter what the album, there's at least two that are really well composed, and he's still got it. Even in the darker times, he's still got it.
Always. I mean, it's something like Machine and Soul, which Gary crucifies every time you talk about it.
Yeah.
There's two or three really. I mean, I Wonder, I think, is a blinding track.
It's great. Yeah, yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
So
when Christopher, I'm sorry.
No,
I apologize.
No,
I was just going to say, when Christopher said, Love is Like Clock Law, it was like, doing something other than the plan and going into the Warriors. I was like, thank God he didn't say bridge. What bridge?
You're joking. That was my next.
well, funny enough, we nearly had Robert Dean here tonight, so he could have explained that.
But Chris and I click really well, and when he said Love is Like Clock Law, I was like, fantastic. I was just like, perfect. They picked the right song there again. So it's just a great tune. I'm really I've started working on it, and I'm really looking forward to doing it, because things are a little easier now here because I finally bought. I can't wait to see Chris's reaction on this. Believe it or not, all of my music's been created using the keys on my computer, not a keyboard. I finally got a keyboard. So things are just a tinge easier now, just a bit.
Yeah.
But I've literally created everything on a computer keyboard. So I was like, either buy a keyboard or you're going to just smash the keys of your computer. So you'll have to buy a whole new computer. So I've upgraded, and now it's starting to look more and more like a studio in here. And I've run 4 sets of software, and it's like, okay.
It could have been worse. You could have had a 1981 Spectrum ZX81 with the chewing gum buttons.
I've still got one in my loft.
Yeah,
with the Commodore 64.
Oh, I have that. I do. I still have my Commodore 64. Yeah.
There are people still with damaged fingers trying to play the Olympics on the Commodore 64.
It's funny, actually, you were saying about Tomorrow's World. Do you remember when we got them first sort of TV video games where you just played tennis all night?
Yeah.
Binatone. I'm there.
I remember when that was a big deal. You'd actually have friends come over. What do you guys want to do? Let's play Pong.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Let's do that. All right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So what's the chances, Bob, of you coming over and doing some gigs with Christopher?
Blimey, I hadn't even thought about
that. Hi, how are you? I'd love to come to England. I'm hopefully going to try and come later in the year to catch the Gary Newman tour. Spaceward tour. Yeah, I would be up for it. Well, you got to get a few more songs done, but I would be up for it. I just got to log on my computer stuff.
I think with only 5 songs, you'd have to charge about £1 on the door.
Yeah, and that's on a good night, or just make it, first drinks free.
We do 5 songs, 5 songs, and then a 2-hour electronic disco.
Hi, everybody. Here's our 38-minute version of Cars. Here we go. Ready? Everybody.
Funny you say that. Norman Greenbaum, who did Spirit in the Sky. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When he did that live, one version he did was 49 minutes.
Oh God!
Oh!
You've got to be smoking something pretty strong to be in the audience and still enjoy a 49-minute version.
I think I'd have been probably in my car and home and in bed by then. It's just 49 minutes of a version of one song.
There's my worst sense of humor, because all I can think of is after he finished, yell encore.
Again.
What? Somebody kill this guy, all right?
Yeah.
I think another pint. Apparently he has had enough pints. Get him with like 5 or 6 more, all right? Maybe I'll show him.
Yeah.
I think I went to see the guy at the Dam who done Happy Talk.
Captain Sensible.
Yeah.
Oh,
he played Happy Talk about 6 times.
Oh. Well, see, that's why we're big fans of his, because we're going to do Love Is Like Clock Law 7 times. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And each one of those is the 23-minute luxury length version.
Did you guys go to the Spaceward show? Yeah. How was it? They played for 2 hours. Did they really? How many songs? 5.
The singer sang it like this.
So you're moving slightly ahead with the early days to Warriors. Have you any plans maybe to do something even further on?
I think so, because it's about I think it's about, if I can get the voice close enough, which hopefully I do a reasonable job with, then really the world's our oyster. So we can just pick whatever we like to do. And along the way, of course, with the people that I know now, I'm sure we'll be able to get some more videos put together, as long as we can keep them varied. So it's a very nice, whether we end up doing it live or not, it's a very nice audio and visual project that we can both certainly enjoy, and hopefully other people, it'll give them some joy as well. And as I say, check it. The Check It video hasn't been a bad start, considering, from scratch to get that sort of response has been great.
I just got to keep the face on. That's what it is. So exactly plastic surgery is looming, I think.
There you go.
Oh well.
Well, Steve, you
really
see,
are
Steve,
following Gary.
See, we've got it down pat, Steve, and see, he's going to get the plastic surgery, Chris is, to look more like Gary, and I'm just going to keep hiding my face. And I think if we stick on that, we'll be really successful with that. So, yeah. But yeah, for doing future stuff, yes, I would love to do. I don't know how Christopher feels about this. I can only speak for myself on this one, but being a Gary Newman fan now for 44 years now, I always would have loved for Gary to do a song from each album instead of just the same thing over and over again. And I would love to maybe at one point do like a song, an album, even something off of Machine and Soul.
Yeah,
Personally, I'd like him to, and I agree with what you say, Bob. Robert, I would rather pick a song from each album which he had never played before.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the neat thing is with us doing the planned stuff, because of the responses we've gotten. We've gotten a lot of people that have said, of all the songs you picked, I wasn't expecting that. And we were like, I was like, yeah, that's why I think another reason why we did it was just so you didn't hear Cars or Our Friends Electric or Down in the Park again. We wanted to pick something different and freshen it up. And I think there's where we've gotten the response from. I mean, the video's we're closing in on 900 views already on the video, which I was like, really? Wow. Okay. And it's just been well received. But I've gotten messages from people saying, when are you coming out with another one?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's coming. It's coming. One guy even said, you guys have got to release something else. And I said, your wish is my command. Don't worry. We've got more coming.
You're too easy, Bob.
Yeah.
I am. Oh, very. Yeah. Just ask me. I'll tell you. I'm very easy. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But Christopher, your last gig at Manchester a couple of weeks ago, I believe, was one of the best ones you've ever done, wasn't it?
Brilliant. I mean, considering I've been, since, with the old glam rock band in 2003, I've been doing it a long time, and that was probably the best gig I've ever had. For the very first time, and I think especially because people had paid good ticket money to see us, so they're on side. But it's the first time I've ever felt like a little rock star, I suppose. I haven't had that before. Women screaming and all of that. And yes, it's because of me. I'm blumming. You won't want to see me, but the overall impact of the sound that band has. So there's a great video of We Are So Fragile where I'm singing away, and then that big riff comes in of the synths, and it sounds powerful, and it sounds more than anything authentic. And the reaction we were getting, Our Friends Electric, was fantastic. So that was our third gig. Mm-hmm. So we're doing, there was 200 there, that was sold out, so that's fantastic. And the next step for Tubeway Days, anyway, is that we are, as we speak, building our stage set props. So we will have moving robots, we will have chaining lights, we will have, and we'll try and get this as authentic as we can, given that we're a tribute band, on a budget. We're not selling millions of records or anything. So, but visually, we will do our very, very best to recreate everything you'd want from a 79 and 80 look. And luckily I do own a proper dry ice machine, so we will have dry ice buckets of that, and we're going to have moving robots and this stuff. So that's all to come, and it's all really exciting. So we've got another sold out gig, first time ever in London, in Camden. That's on the 30th of April. So that's good. And then I think there's two in August in Cannock, where we did our first gig in Staffordshire, and then at Stockport Garrick Theatre at the end of August, and that's where we'll probably unleash the full stage set. So yeah, it'll be very exciting. Can't wait.
No, sounds brilliant. Sounds absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And we then, I mean, I suppose ultimately the dream is to be able to, and for 2023, we're already upping things because we can see that it's going really well. So we are going to be going into small and medium-sized theatres, and I'll give it 2 years, then retire, and we'll play a gig in Wembley, and that'll be that. And I'll regret it afterwards forever and ever. Do you know? I can honestly say our actual pie in the sky could never possibly happen dream would be if we can start to sell good numbers in theatres. You know, hopefully word will get around. You know, if we could get to that kind of level, the ultimate dream is to be able to get 800 people at Hammersmith Odeon and completely recreate the touring principle, start to finish. And if we, because we've worked out roughly, I mean, this is roughly, but £25 a ticket times 800 people. I mean, it needs basically all of those people at Manchester the other week to bring another 3 friends with them.
Yeah.
If we could do that, we would have the touring principle 1979 at Hammersmith Odeon. I mean, that would be just the ultimate dream. Could probably never happen, but
I don't know. If I'm honest with you, I think it's very doable.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I've followed Gary ever since day dot. And I even remember, and I think I've said this several times, something like even being on the Berserker tour, that I wanted Gary to sound like he did in '79, because they were using newer synths and everything. Me, I Disconnect From You was a completely different thing. I know Berserker was different because you had fretless bass and everything. And I would happily go and pay to come and see it, because if you recreate that with near enough the sounds, to me that's perfect. And I think a lot of Newman fans, although we all still follow him by his music and like what he does most of the time, especially us older ones, we do love that time bubble to go back to that moment.
And that's exactly it. We've got a strong idea about what we wanted to do with Tubeway Days, because, I mean, obviously, I met Pat Martin of the Liquid Engineers like years and years ago when he was, I mean, a long time ago, and he was doing the Gary Newman thing then, and bless him, blimey, he's been going such a long time. I mean, fantastic, really, to keep going like that. And he's got a great show because he does, you know, he's covering everything, because there are a new influx of fans for Gary's work now, younger people that you would never see, you know, probably late 80s, 90s. It was of that age when he was famous, and that was it. No new fans. So he's catering so well, and what a nice bloke. What an absolute nice bloke. Wished us luck on our first gig. I mean, he speaks volumes, smashing fella. But, you know, so he covers the whole thing and can pick, you know, loads of unusual songs to do. But I certainly think that, you know, there is a quite a big portion of the fan base for Gary Newman, if they like tribute bands. Again, in tribute world, it's a strange place to be. There are some people who hate tribute bands. I won't even tell you what my first review, when I put Stars in Their Eyes on, my very first review was a 4-letter word beginning and ending with T, and it wasn't tart, right? So that was my review. That I thought, oh, blimey, great, you know. And basically, there are certain people who do not want you to be Gary Newman, because Gary Newman's theirs, you know.
I think whichever way you look at it, even with like my YouTube and that, people that say they love it, there'll be a lot of people come on and say, what a dickhead, blah blah blah. And I don't take any. I don't care.
No.
You know.
So what we wanted to do was take everybody back 43 years ago to 1979-80, when they were in their teens. They bought their first ticket to see Gary Newman, and we are the ultimate nostalgia trip.
And the closer we can get with things like the lights and whatever to a stage set would be the ultimate. And I think people would pay for that, because you're only here once, and who doesn't want to revisit their youth, you know?
Exactly. And if Bob can turn up, and if he's worried how he looks, we can dress him up as Nash.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah. He's virtually there now, I think.
Actually, I think what I'm going to do is when I come over there, I'm going to dress up as one of the moving pyramids. just spin me around, okay?
You can be the robot what kept falling over.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. I'll just and if I can interject for a second, the nice thing about Tubeway Days, having a uber fan over here like me of the band, because the band is magnificent. They sound exactly how they should sound, note for note. And now they have Chris singing; they're just magical. The nice thing about this, of having Tubeway Days, is that it's for people like me that didn't get the chance to see Gary Newman back then, and now we can get that feeling that Britain got that America did. I know Gary was over here for those tours, but I was too young to go.
But to recreate the touring principal stage now wouldn't be a fraction as expensive as it was then, because we've got the panel lights and everything, haven't we now? So
yeah. And also, there's probably a lot can be done with projection onto boards. You could.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
So we're looking, into all of these things for later in the day, when we've got big enough audiences to be able to be able to pay for it, basically. So if we can do that, fantastic. Yeah.
I think you probably can. If I'm honest with you, I'd put money on you can.
I would. Yeah.
No, seriously, I would, because I know a lot of people. I don't know a lot of people, but you know what I mean. I know a lot of new guys, and I would say 99% all long for that 79-80 period.
Yeah,
like I said, we're all of that sort of age, and just to recreate that for one night, would be awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely awesome.
I think there's it is a dream at the moment, but I think Hammersmith Odeon costs something like £20,000 to hire for the night. So I think it's ballpark that area. So that's roughly what it worked out. 25 quid a ticket, 800 people sort of breaks us even, other than what we would spend on a lot. And to be honest, to be able to just play Hammersmith Odeon, I just pay. I don't care.
To be fair, I do go and see tribute bands. I went to see a tribute band for OMD, which is a bit weird because it's one bloke and one girl. And I think that's fine. They were good. But I think the mistake some bands make, and I don't know if you do this, they sell their CDs.
Yeah.
And I sort of think, well, why would I buy that?
Yeah.
I'll buy the real thing.
Yeah, exactly. Whilst we do a pretty close job with the audio that we've released, just to show what we can do, I think selling it's a different thing, because we are pretty close. It would be like buying the album. In a lot of those tracks, they're virtually indiscernible. I mean, is it Facebook? I think we do that thing where when we release Cars, and it was actually thought it was Cars. So that tells you how close we are audio wise to it.
Yeah, I watched it.
It was under investigation, when we first put it out.
I think that's I'd love to see it happen, and I hope it happens.
Yeah,
sincerely, I hope that happens. That'd be fantastic.
Well, you know what they say. If you aim high, then if you end up somewhere in between, great. But I think that would be the one where I'm sure if you said there's going to be a reenactment entirely of the touring principal or teletour at Hammersmith Odeon, do you want to pay 25 quid to come and see that? I'm sure if people have any idea that we're doing a decent job, they'd come.
Well,
build it and they will come, as Kevin Costner once said, or whatever.
Well, I think people who would know your band and yourself would know they're getting exactly what they paid for. So and more and more.
Yeah. I mean, really, we'd probably encourage fancy dress. Come as your favourite, Gary. You know,
he hasn't done a bald one, has he?
No, not really.
I'm fairly fucked then.
He's worn plenty of hats. He's worn plenty of hats.
Just wear a wig.
Just
Exactly.
just dye your face bright white and put on a bright blue wig. You'll be set for the Berserker era. It'll be great. You know,
brilliant.
I'm there.
You'll look fantastic.
I'm there.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I'd do for Gary.
I always thought that was the hardest. That was again. I mean, we're doing all this reenactment. I was far too young for touring principal in Telecon. I was. Berserker was my first Birmingham Odeon Berserker. I was 15. Finally got to see it, so I'd missed all the good stuff.
Oh, I saw the Torn Principle in '79. So
fantastic! Where did you see it?
Ipswich Gaumont.
Oh, nice. Right.
Well, it's not Gaumont anymore, but it's like loads of things. Unfortunately, I remember seeing Japan as well.
What was that? What was that noise like, though, Rob? Steve? What was that when the lights went down and it must have been thrilling.
I always class these sort of things as, because obviously a lot of bands have to turn it down nowadays. I always called it shirt shaking. Well, I'd be at the front by one of these massive speakers, and of course suddenly you get this. Well, I'm at the back. I've been blown back. All my clothes are ripped off because it was that powerful. When I'm just pinned to the wall, you know what I mean? It was that sort of. Yeah. Loads of times I'd done that. You know, I remember seeing Ultravox they open with the thin wall, and suddenly you get this. Oh, I'm gone again. You know. Yeah. Good days. I enjoyed them. Yeah. But it's like a lot of things. You have. It's like seeing Japan in about 1980, 81. I can't remember. I remember Mick Karn. The only song I really remember is Gentlemen Take Polaroids. Yeah. And there's so many bits and pieces. Mick Karn shuffling back and forward and David Sylvian playing a synth at the end. And it's the same with the Torn Principle sort of thing. You have little shots at it.
Yeah.
You remember how good it felt, but your memory of the complete thing is a bit
Yeah.
But I never saw the Teletour and I never went to Wembley.
No. There were 2 tickets for Wembley in our local paper, the Tamworth Herald, £5. Yeah. But in our house, if it wasn't Aston Villa Football Club and golf or lager, my dad didn't think it was worth spending anything on. So I didn't get those tickets.
I think what as kids we don't quite realise is we were in quite a depths of a recession back in 1980. And as much as a ticket might have been £3, £4, our parents really probably couldn't afford it.
No, that's right.
You sort of work that out in later life. Well, gentlemen, I think it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Both of you. And let's get this Hammersmith thing sorted.
We'll crowdfund it. That's what we'll do.
There you go. That's the spirit. And at Spaceward, we're going to be really out there instead of like Gary's.
No, don't worry. If we're playing Hammersmith, we're the support act.
There we But we're such revolutionaries. We're going to paint the red lines on our face horizontal instead of vertical. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but then you look like you've been in the grill.
I think I've had that look once or twice before. Yeah. Okay.
No, thanks, Steve. It's been very good. Thanks for having us. And I think me and Robert are both. Because I watched all of the videos that you've done, all of the interviews. Great, and but they're real celebrities rather than a tribute one. So I mean, good company there. So thanks very much. Thanks a lot.
Don't always class yourself as a tribute. You're a true act.
Yep.